Hey guys, I'm back. Back with Geometry Dash and back with the whole YouTube thing because obviously previously I was recording like once a week. I'm back fully. I got a new PC down here, whole new rig, i9 RTX 3060. I have the whole thing on my account here. If you look here, I think I have it posted, but yeah. Everybody freak out because I got a new computer, so now I can record videos again. So today, obviously, I bring to you another Geometry Dash video. But first of all, I want to thank my dad because he's the reason that this is possible. He hooked me up with this awesome PC, and I will shout out his channel. I'll put it on the screen right now if I remember to, and I'll definitely link it in the description below. I think he does PUBG clips, so he's super good, super cool. Check him out, and big thanks to him. Alright, so as you saw from the title, we're doing more demon tips because the first video did insanely well. Like, it blew my mind. Like, that's bonkers. You guys, it's up to like, I don't know, probably 5.6K now, which is crazy. It's way better than any of my other Geometry Dash or gaming videos have done. So that's insane, guys. Thank you so much, and keep up the views. Don't forget to subscribe if you do enjoy it and like the video. It all helps. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers. We're still growing, and I have a feeling that now that we're able to record Geometry Dash, it's gonna help us super good. So let's go ahead and get into this demon tip video. All right, so right off the bat, just before we get into this, I want to show you that we have it divided into sections. I kind of added like this little zipper thing here. It kind of looks like a zipper, a dotted line or whatever. I used some 3DLs. Just take these and rotate them. You can do that. So that's how I did that, if you wanted to know. And I kind of divided this level into sections. So I have pre-drop, different pre-drop, and then drop is one whole section in itself. But I'll be teaching you guys how to do all this stuff right now. So the first thing I want to show you guys is I've zoomed really close in on it because this is very important. You guys will not be cool if you don't do this. See this? This is an alpha trigger. Alpha triggers are awesome because they make things disappear. So what you can do with the alpha trigger is, say I set something to group 1, which I have, and then I go to this alpha trigger here and edit the object. Right here, it says choose the group ID. Well, I chose 1, and then you can set the fade time and then set the opacity, which is basically how visible you want the object to be. So if you have like a level that has a bunch of invisible objects that you want all to be in the same group, always make your invisible group 1, okay? Otherwise, it just bothers me. It bothers everyone. It bothers people. So I'll show you an example of that would be in the spider part where I have the screen moving. There is, if I just do this, you can see a bunch of spider portals that I didn't want people to see because those are just specifically for camera movement, not for visual purposes. Obviously, you don't want a bunch of spider portals in the spider section. So that's just an example of something you could do with that. All right, into the first part here, and all I've done is that if you know for a fact you don't want to use the ground layer, then just use a teleportation portal. It makes everything so much easier. You don't have to build a giant ramp like all those recent tab levels. You just build a giant a teleportation portal and put a platform up here. And all that does is as soon as you start, your character will instantly be teleported up here. And so you just build a platform and you're good to go. So it's that simple. Just don't make. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go. You don't want to take these ramps. You don't want to go like that because that just looks ugly. You don't want to ramp all the way up. Plus, it takes time. You don't want to have to offset your song because of it. And this isn't much better because your character will go flying off the top if you use those slopes. All right, here we have the first part here. So as you can see, I just have this pad here that launches you into a slow speed part. Because if you listen to the song, it's a build up. It's a pre-drop. And as you can hear, it doesn't particularly sound too fast. In fact, I probably could have gotten away with 1 speed, but I like 2 speed for pre-drop. If you're like for this song, which is, by the way, it's called Fisher Price by Cricket Says Chill. So if you want to use that song, I'm also gonna be uploading this video after this video is uploaded, so you guys can play it on my account. My account name will be in the description. You can friend me, so check that out. So if we hit the play button here. That is the first section of gameplay that I want to go over is just this. And so the first thing is, when you're making a layout, you don't have to make, if you're making a layout that's not going to be decorated, sure, you can go super detailed with the layout blocks, and I get into that later on. But if you're just making a layout to make a layout, then or if you're making a layout to decorate, then you can go simple with the outlines, just where your cube needs to land, which is this like little elbow piece I've made. And then I made another one right here. And then I made a 2 square for the spikes. And then another little elbow piece. And these are super simple to make. You just take the line, and then you rotate one, put it in it, and then do more. But you don't even have to get that complicated with it. If you want to use an extra piece, you can use the elbow piece. And then, there you go. That's just one less piece you have to use, right? So those are super simple to make. And they work really good. Because as you can see, like, it still feels good. It's like, you see these every day. And I'll put on screen a level right now that does it really well. And you can see, like, they still have decoration in the level. But instead of, like, you know, just leaving the line there, they have decoration and the line on top. So you can see they clearly did that. So it works really well in that level. I'll put the name of the level on screen if I remember to again. So, now we're on to this part right here. This part is basically, if you want to get more quirky with your block design, then you can use these angled pieces. And basically what that does is it allows you to do some more creative gameplay. And I like to call it this little thing a Woolsey piece, because if you've played High Spirits by Woolsey, he uses a lot of these little like angular pieces at the beginning to create unique gameplay, and I think that he does a really good job with that. Another thing here is this thing. I like to do this a lot. This little structure right here. Let me copy and paste it and move it out of the way so we can analyze this. Here, missed pieces. Bloop. All right, so this thing right here is called the smashy heady flippy gravity thingy. But basically, you hit your head right here, and then you flip gravity, but you could not do that. You could hit your head and then just jump, but I decided to do a gravity swap there. So if we play this again, there you can see that it's really simple, and it's super good, and it looks good, and it plays good, and it feels good. It's a good piece of gameplay. And then I just added a pink orb here that leads you onto a slope. Then you jump over a spike onto a Woolsey platform. And then right here, here's an example if you were to do a layout just for layout, not for decoration. You can add these little, like, outline pieces. There's all kinds of little, like, funky looking outline pieces. You can add, like, dots in for more detail. I don't know. You can add little things in there. And you don't have to do this, but this is just something you can do to make it look better. Make it look more structuralized. Like, I could add another piece on and then go even farther with that. Just like that. You know, you can just keep piling things on, and it looks good. It doesn't look bad. And also, these boys right here, J blocks. J blocks are probably one of the better blocks. So if you're using a black orb to smash onto the ground that's really close to you, and you don't want to be annoying and have them fly back up on the spike, like here, watch. Oopsies. If I delete these J blocks, I'll show you what happens when you go through this part. Let's go ahead and put a start position. Alright, so see, I hold down the button and I smash my head. Now what I have to do is I have to tap it ever so slightly, but no one wants to do that because that's just annoying in gameplay. So you put some J blocks down. There, I held the button down. Yeah, I still didn't smash my head because the J block stops you from jumping when you fall back down. So that's just a really simple thing you can do. And now we're on to the next section. So this is where things get cool. Replenished. Alright, so this is the spider part. As you can see, I've defined it with a zipper. If we put in our start position here, I'll just play through it really quickly. That is the spider part. Now, as you can see, I've added a bit of shape to the blocks without using the slopes. On this first part, I used the slope, but I didn't really like it because you can see the spider doesn't stick to the ground. He kind of flies off, so it's kind of annoying. So I decided to use shape using these, using the lines and just taking them. And, you know, you can just copy and paste these, move it over a layer, and then just hold down Shift and use the WAS and D to move them in small increments. So, just like that, you know, you can create some shape to your platforms. So I did that all the way up here. And like I told you before, if we highlight these are the portals that are put on group 1, which is the alpha trigger group. So they're invisible, but the only reason I have these here is so that, you know, when you're playing the level, you can see the screen moves up. Just like that. So it's just for camera movement purposes. but I thought that was really cool. And so when you're doing spider gameplay, don't have them touching, like, if I put this check mark, don't have the spider touch the edges. Always make it touch platforms, unless you're getting really creative with your gameplay, but that's pretty advanced stuff right there that I'm not even that good at. But as you can see, this play is really good. And it's tight because this is a demon, but it works good. You know, it works. Alright, and right here we have just a little spot before we get to the drop, which is divided by a zipper. But if we go ahead and put our cube here, it just goes to the sink. It's really simple. So we got boom, boom, and then the boom. And right here I have a ton of mini and big portals that simplify the that noise. And now we're into the drop. So the drop is always supposed to feel climactic. You don't want to have you don't want to use the 1 or -1 speed at a drop, and you really don't even want to use the 2 speed unless it's a slower drop. But typically you want to use the 3 or 4 speed. Here I've used the 4 speed because it works better in this situation. But here is just like a little auto wave part, because the way I find easiest to make a drop climactic is to just switch between game modes pretty frequently. So you can see like every 5 blocks or so. This one's like 7 blocks. But every like 6 or 7 blocks, I change game modes pretty frequently. So let's go ahead and play through this once, and then I'll dissect every part for you guys. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play in normal mode so you guys can see what it would look like if you're actually playing the level. Just like that. It's as simple as that, but it feels super climactic. Especially in those wave spam parts, because they go to the sync really well. You know, you can hear when it goes, you know, you're going with the wave jiggling, and then when it goes to the other kind of spammy part, and that's upside down, so it's even more crazy. So let's go ahead and dissect every part. Alright, so this first wave bit right here, which is just an auto part, I put a little thing up there in case you were to get fooled by that, you know. What you could do is you could have a coin. Oh, you know, I just came up with a really good idea. Hold up, I gotta build this real quick. Alright, so I just made a really cool coin here. So if you go on to the fake path, and actually let me go ahead and grab this as a good example and put it into group 1, which is my invisible group. So look, you can go up and grab the coin, and it just pops you back out down at the bottom, which is awesome. But the normal way, basically you just jump. It's auto, puts you in the cube, and then you jump, and then when you hit this green orb, you hold the button because you'll be an upside down wave. So you hold it as you go down, and then when you go up, you'll release the button, and then your cube flies out the top. Just like that. So it's real simple. I like these little short wave segments because they're, you know, they're fun, they're easy, and they work. They make good sync. And then that, what was that noise? What was that noise? God, that little noise. It goes good with this little UFO segment right here. And I'll get into this wave part in the next part. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, that UFO goes through the little 1 block gap, and then you put it back into a normal gravity cube, and then you jump right into the wave. Alright, so this wave part, so I just did some structuring. It's like some pretty weird structuring. I used some slopes, but it works, you know, it looks good. And then it's just a spam section. And then, as you can see, there's like some wiggly sounding song, and then at the end it's like, woo. So you go up. That ooh, you know, you go up through the ball, and it flings you into this next section, which also has some like whatever, and then there's some spam sounding right here. So if we play through it, right? It sounds good. So it sounds very synced, and the ball segments should always be no longer than like this, like no longer than that length, I'd say. No longer than through this wave, because ball segments, while they can be fun, you don't want them to go on for too long, or else they just get repetitive and boring. It's hard to come up with unique ball gameplay, in my opinion, but I seem to make it work every time. And then in this part, you go into the ship, flings you through it, and you hit the ceiling here. Sometimes this transition's kind of crappy, I'll be honest. I didn't try very hard on it, but sometimes you hit the ceiling, sometimes you like get like take a breath. Get your voice, get your act back together, Dylan. Let's continue the video. Alright. So sometimes you get flung up into the ceiling, sometimes you get flung below the green orb. It's kind of random whether you get to it or not. And then I just created this little spike structure here and this little elbow structure that puts you into this spider, which is really simple. And here is a huge life hack for you guys. If you ever make a platform that's too small and you don't want to go through the extending process because it won't look good, you can add these little like invisible lines. They don't look invisible, but when they're in game, they're like they're like these invisible blocks that fade out when you go near them. And basically any block that has this this purple background to it instead of the regular gray is an invisible block. It fades away when you get close to it. Or you can even go one step further and put these into group 1 and just have a safety guard so if someone does miss, they do still land, so it's not making unfun gameplay. So let's go ahead and play through this entire thing so you can see how it plays. Just like that. Simple as that. It works good. You could put dotted lines in front of these little triangle structure I made with the spikes. I don't know what I was doing there. It was just something creative. And then you go onto a cube, and if I were to just like make some gameplay up on the spot, let me think for a second, and I will. All right, so what I've decided to do is I created a little where you jump up and it switches your gravity. If you did not know, if your cube jumps up and hits its head on a block with pads, with these little blue pads right here, your cube will switch gravity and jump. So it kind of like flips you, and then you hit the green orb, and you go through this, and it's sync. Cause listen, it's like wah, right? That noise. You remember that noise? If I could do this, just like that. So that's it. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a cube portal in it again. Just make it really tiny, and let's see if that transition works or if it's broken. Nope, it works. So we're just gonna go ahead and leave it like that. That's it. So, I'll go ahead and put in a clip now of me beating the level in regular mode, and then, I'll link everything in the description. Check the description for a whole bunch of stuff. Everything will be there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a while to get all this stuff set up and ready for you guys. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if you guys are going to be happy with this video, but don't worry because there will be more videos coming out this week, as well as a couple of like me beating levels, just like I did with Winterlecken and stuff. So Geometry Dash is back, YouTube is back. I can basically record any game, so if you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comment below, and I will respond to that as quick as I can. And here you guys go. Here's the finished level.